You're always my best critic. Well, every time you see me, every time I come to this town.
Do you mind if I just do one thing?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Do you mind if I open the show?
I didn't know we were on.
We're on.
We're on now?
Yeah, right now.
Oh,
wait, hush. Everybody in the world has a story to tell, and this gentleman has got a million of them. He's one of the most inventive comedians you'd ever want to see. You might not recognize him because he doesn't get a lot of TV exposure. He's getting it tonight. He's going to tell us a lot of stories. You're not going to believe this. Hi, everyone. We're on location at Harrah's in Atlantic City, and my guest is Sammy Shore on tonight's edition of the David Spatz Show.
No, I forgot. No, you have always been my severest critic.
Right.
Every time you used to see me when I first came in, say, Sammy, would you get out of the way? And then you tell me when I first started. My first job was with Tony Orlando, right at the.
Yeah, and then he fired you. Wait, let me just
go ahead.
Let me just do one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the David Spatz Show. We're on location at Harrah's in Atlantic City. Sammy Shore joins us, and go ahead, just jump right in. And
I thought we were back before.
I'm going to have some coffee.
Yeah, go ahead. No. I thought we were back before.
Keep talking.
We're back now. We're on? Mm-hmm. Oh, anyway, so I was at the, never been to Atlantic City before. I heard so much about it. I was excited to come to Atlantic City, and
I cut you a new one. Yeah. I cut him a new one.
You cut me a new...
A new act.
A new act, exactly. Well, I started to do something. You told me, why don't you do this bit at the end or something like that when I first started here with Tony Orlando,
That's right?
What was the bit? What did you tell me to do? I started to do...
Was it Brother Sam?
It was No, I was doing Brother Sam.
You were doing Brother Sam.
But you told me to do the Glory, Glory, Hallelujah Supper, whatever it is at the end.
And you did
taking over the hotels, taking over that's it. And then followed the Brother Sam bit that went
went into the casino.
Right, the casino. We went into the casino. You led us through the whole, and then you held me over. You said that I was the best comedy act in Atlantic City, but I was the only one working there at the time.
And I was young.
Yeah.
So
you were young. You didn't know too much
either. Knew what we were doing. Listen,
and I was voted that, and then I took it. I saw it on my wall.
I named it on
my wall.
You paid me $10. I thought that was a lot of money in those days.
$10, you were paid off, right? $10.
You paid me.
That's true.
But you don't remember it. Listen,
right. Yeah.
I said at the top of the show that everybody has a story to tell, and you've got a million of them. And the stories you could tell could fill a book, and they have, because we can start out by mentioning the fact that your very first comedy partner was a kid named Sheldon Greenfield, went on and changed his name to Shecky Green.
Shecky Green, right.
Okay. You, as you worked your way up through the comedy ranks, you ended up touring as Elvis Presley's opening act for him. How long?
5 years.
5 years.
Right.
You were the only act that Elvis would use.
Right.
Okay. You founded the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I gave it to my wife in the divorce, and she took it $2 million.
You've heard the name Mitzi Shore. Yeah. Well, Sammy is Mitzi's ex-husband.
Right.
All right. So that was another chapter that you could tell. And then there's a whole generation of people who might not know you, but they sure do know your most famous offspring, because your son,
Pauley Shore,
for better or worse, is Pauley Shore.
I got a picture. Could you catch him?
Can we see a picture of Pauley? But you're not in it.
I am. That's me, David.
Where's you? Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Here's a better picture here. There it is. How about that one? Is that a little better?
Father and son.
Huh? Is that cute?
You must be proud of him.
Huh? Yeah.
I mean, he came out of nowhere to capture the imaginations of a lot of people.
Kids love him, really. I take care of the older people, as you saw tonight.
Right.
I mean, you saw the older crowd there. They were, hey, he's funny. I can identify with them, and Pauley takes over the younger crowd. So we got them both.
Did you have any idea that Pauley would be when we first got to know each other, we're talking like 15 years ago, Pauley was how old, 10?
Well, he's 25 now, so he's 10 years old.
He's 10 years old.
Right.
Did he exhibit any...
Elvis kind of fun. He kept saying when I was with you, who's that guy with the mustache, it's getting bald? I said, it's David Spatz from the Atlantic City. He gave you that write-up, Dad? Yeah, well, tell him to write better about you. Pauley remembers you. I showed him pictures of you in the paper when you gave me the review with us. Dad, who's that little guy with the bald head with the thing? And David, it's worked. It's perfect. He was right. Anyway, so... I've never seen one of his movies. You haven't seen one?
No, I haven't seen.
Really?
But my kids have, and they love him.
Yeah. Well, if they want an autographed picture of Pauley, I'll more than happy send them.
They want one of you too.
Really?
Yeah, I've told
Yeah,
him
but
all
maybe,
about you.
maybe your wife wants one of me, but not you, David. I mean, you kept pushing me away from Atlantic City. What?
Did you push Pauley into comedy, or did you?
No. Here's what happened. He came to me one day and he said, "Dad," he said, I'm doing this character, this weasel, this surfer kid, and,
Right.
and I said, I want to do this, Dad. And he did it for me. I said, "Well, gee, Pauley, that's funny, but I mean, where you going with it? Well, Dad, I'm going to build this whole character, and I'm the weasel, the weasel, And I was looking at him like he was like, "Whoa, this kid is like, so something's not right here." I didn't understand the character. I understood the character, but he knew more about it than I did.
But in a sense, isn't the weasel?
Yeah.
Isn't that to Pauley what Brother Sam is?
Definitely.
To you?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Never thought of it that way. How you're so clever? How you're so? I mean, you've just started that, David. You just came.
It's amazing. Well, I've been doing this job
What
for a minute
years
and a half.
that you've the experience, you've all the write-ups.
But that's his. But that's
Yeah, I
his thing,
think.
And
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably what I'm known for, or what my identification is with Brother Sam, because I was one of the first comics to do an evangelist. I mean, a lot of comedians are doing it,
right?
But I'm not. They didn't steal it from me. I'm just saying that I was the first guy to present a religious piece on the stage, and make it come off funny.
You first did that while you were with Elvis, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he loved that. I mean,
no, I did beads. I had beads and I had a tambourine, and I'd go over to the audience and I hit him. Use your head, and I'd hit someone in the head. One night I hit a woman in the head, knocked her hairpiece off, and she sued me.
Did you really?
Sued me about $10,000. She didn't get anything because it was just all bull. Didn't mean anything. But that was the piece that Elvis loved. One night, this is actually happened. So I'm doing the Brother Sam bit. That's the last piece that I did. The balcony at the International Hotel had 500 people up there. I look in the balcony toward the end of it. I said, "You people in the balcony, you want to be saved?" And they would say, "Yeah." I say, "Well, jump." One night, Elvis threw a dummy off the balcony with a rope around his neck, fully dressed, put the lights up. All the guys did. Joe Esposito and all the guys. I mean, I panicked. I thought a guy jumped off the balcony. I mean, they did stuff. I mean, like, I can't believe. I mean, they did every night. It was something going on. One night, I'm finishing my act, and Joe Esposito shouts through the curtain, Sammy, we just got a call from the police. Do some more time. There's a sniper out there. Elvis is afraid." And I had to do another 45 minutes, and I'm going back. "Don't shoot, please. I'm just a comic. Hallelujah, Dad. You don't shoot." But I've been going 45 minutes back and forth.
That must have been a wild ride for you. 5 years of working with Elvis Presley.
Yep.
I mean, and this was during the absolute height of his career.
Exactly.
How did you stay sane?
I didn't.
I'm sorry, you were drinking.
Yeah, I was drinking. I would say drinking. I mean, I was able to do what I did. But,
right.
But I got caught up in all of that. We all thought that it would never end.
All right, well, now, didn't your association with Elvis end at the International Hotel, which became the Hilton? But you went into the lounge there, and you were a smash out there.
Right.
You were big.
Right.
And then it was time for Elvis to go out on tour again, and you called the Colonel and wanted to know the dates, and the Colonel say something like, "Elvis doesn't want no lounge act open for him"?
Yeah, you're right. You got an unbelievable memory, David. What happened? In other words, the Colonel came to me. Jerry Weintraub was handling the tour and all that, and he said, "The Colonel wants to see you." I said, "Well, for what, Jerry?" "Well, I don't know, I just want to talk to you." Because Elvis was coming back in the hotel again, and he came in. I went in his office, and I said, "Hi, Colonel. I'm all excited. You're coming back in." I said, "How's Elvis?" "Fine." He said, "Sam, how you enjoy working the lounge?" I said, Fine, Colonel. "You doing good down there, Sam?" He said, "Yeah, I'm doing great, Colonel. It's great." He said, "Good. You're fired." I said, "What?" He said, "You're fired." He said, "We don't want any lounge comics working with Elvis Presley."
And yet they were the ones who encouraged you to go into the lounge.
No, not really. No. The Colonel, I went to the Colonel after I accepted the lounge, rather than going to him before and saying, "Colonel, do you mind if I go into the lounge? I have a chance to work some weeks." And he would have said whatever he would have said to me at the time. I just thought the president of the hotel, Alex Schufe, says, "Hey, you got a contract? You want to go work some weeks, and then when Elvis comes back, you work with." What about the Colonel? He said, "Don't worry about the Colonel. I'll take care of the Colonel." Yeah, he'll take, like everyone took care of the Colonel.
Yeah, right.
The biggest mistake I ever made. I don't think it was the biggest mistake I ever made, because I'm still here doing what I do, and Elvis is not here.
Right.
So
Memorable experience I've ever had in my life, I swear from my heart, was 1969, the International Hotel in Las Vegas. Just, give me a Elvis Presley. 2,500 people from all over the world, movie stars, dignitaries, press. House lights dimmed. The timpani roll. Elvis's music 2001. Boom, 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 boom. And the announcement, and now, ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for. A legend in his own time. Boom, 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 king of rock and roll. Boom, boom, boom. But first, Sammy Shore. I walked out, it was a complete silence, just like it is right now. I walked out there, I grabbed the microphone, I said, the microphone was dead. 2,500 people, I started to panic. I didn't know what to do. They stuck another microphone out there and I pretended it worked. Even did Shakespeare. What light through yonder window breaks to the east? And Juliet is the sun. If I die, if I know, if I taste the flame. If I know the flame that came before it. Do you see the flame that comes? Even did a poem. I had a little chicken, wouldn't lay an egg. So I poured hot water down its little hind leg. And it wiggled and it woggled, hollered and it begged. Hot damn chicken laid a hard-boiled egg. Finally won him over after 25 minutes. I walked off the stage, and Elvis was standing in the wings. And I reached out to shake his hand, and it was full of jelly. He was eating a donut. Those were great. You remember Jimmy Swaggart? He was my favorite. I loved Jimmy Swaggart. Now, he's no longer, well, he's preaching, but I saw him on a cable show a few months ago, coming from South America. Because he's, because the investigations here in America, he can't bungada, whatever it was he was doing, But I saw him in South America preaching in front of 50,000 Hispanic-speaking people, doing his sermon in English. And right next to him was a small Hispanic man interpreting his sermon from English into Spanish. Wherever Swaggart would pace, a small Hispanic man would follow him and interpret. And Swaggart would say, and I walk side by side with the Lord. Caliente soda para ti, we should look up and show our love to the Lord. It's echo Jesus, the same love as we show our wives. Because when I preach to the people, I preach to the people because we are nothing. We are lower than nothing. We are like bugs on the floor. Because
being in Atlantic City, when I came back into this town, I swear to you, David, and walking into this hotel, it was like I was home again. All the people backstage were still here, just a lot older. A lot of the people, we did a show a Thursday night before we opened for the employees. Half of the employees were the same employees that were here when I was here. So what does that tell you about the hotel? It tells you something that Bill Harris still lives.
Sam, there's a whole bunch of people out there who know who Bill Harris was, but there's probably an equal number who don't know the name Bill Harris, maybe other than the fact that he built casinos. Who was Bill Harris?
Bill Harris was just a guy who started Harris Hotel in Lake Tahoe maybe 35, 40 years ago, in around there, and built a little casino and had a few rooms and started it. And he started bringing in acts, and all of a sudden Sammy Davis opened it up. And then I went in with Diana Ross and the Supremes. We were the second act. And it kept getting bigger and kept getting bigger. And then finally he expanded it and made a bigger hotel. And then he had Reno. But Bill Harris was a kind of man. I've never seen anyone like it that has owned any kind of a casino or a nightclub that treated his acts like he did. It didn't make any difference if you were an opening act or a star. You've all got the same treatment. In other words, the star stayed in the bigger suite, but the opening act, like myself, still had a suite. I had the same privileges. I could sign everything. I could invite anybody I wanted to. All the checks were picked up. I always had a car if I wanted it. Not a Rolls Royce like the star, but a truck. That was okay. But I had whatever I had. And we had dinner at his house once a week. When you open up, usually 2 or 3 nights later, he invited you over to his home, full dinner, with his help and with everybody, with his wife, and we sat and we talked about the business, and he treated you like anything you need, Sam, whatever you want, and it was like, and it just went on and on and on, and Bill got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and people looked forward into working Harris because of the treatment that they got. He paid well, but everyone loved, Bill Cosby loved him, Sammy, Tony Orlando, whatever, anybody that worked there, they were sad when they left the engagement because it was that much fun. It was that much fun. You'll never find anyone, anywhere, I don't think, it's my opinion, that will ever be as nice to the acts as Bill Harrow was.
And I've heard that from countless entertainers who came through that era. And when they come here to Atlantic City, a lot of them, they say that they can almost sense the spirit of the man.
Definitely.
Even though Bill Harrow died 4 years before this place was even built. Interesting. Listen, we talked a little bit about your famous offspring. You have 3 other children who are all successful at what they do.
Yes.
You have a successful ex-wife.
She's still doing very well.
All right, she's got the comedy
He's
store.
still millions. She made millions, David. I just gave it away, and I'm working at Atlantic City, and I'm just getting a few bucks. And Freddie is cutting me. I got the time I was gonna do 28 minutes, cut me down to 21 minutes, and he cut my money, and I can still I'd have had the comedy store, David. I would have been there. Anyway,
yeah,
so
would you have been happy though?
No,
I
could not.
How did you start? What was the genesis of the comedy store?
Was just the room. Frank Sennis, who owned the building, gave me the room. He said, Sam, I did a benefit for one night for a bunch of guys, and he was there. He said, why don't you take over my room? You know, on Sunset, it was part of Ciro's, the famous nightclub for years.
I didn't realize it was part of Ciro's.
Oh, sure, it was a smaller room.
And Ciro's was
like
famous,
that was it. So I opened it up. I got my friend Rudy DeLuca, who's writes for Mel Brooks, and he's doing another movie called Dracula right now, Take Off of Dracula. Rudy's done all the movies, so Rudy and I opened the comedy store, and we didn't know what we had. We just invited all our friends. Okay, UMC. Okay, I'll go. Good evening. Welcome to the comedy. And we had piano player, and I introduced comedians that would drop in and get up, and all of a sudden one followed this one, and that one came in. A guy was played a saxophone, whatever. Whoever walked in came up, jumped up on the stage, and word shot through that town, like this was the place to be. This was like the new, innovative, whatever it was, because you never know what was going to happen. And everybody in comedy showed up in that place. I'd keep the place open until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, close the doors after 2, and let everyone go. Richie Pryor and Red Fox and all the guys. Leonard Barr, Dean Martin's uncle would walk in. So whoever would walk in at that moment, if a comic was on, he'd finish, and then I'd put this guy on. And another comedian would come over and say, hey, I thought I was going on. Well, no, so, Red Fox just walked in. So in other words, you never knew who you were going to see. Nothing was structured. And the comedians didn't like it because some of them got bumps sometimes, but that's the way I ran it. So when Mitzi took it over, my ex-wife, she worked it perfect. She took it over. You go on 15 minutes, Joe. Frank, you go on 15 minutes. So there was a structure. So you knew if you're going on at 11 o'clock, you'd go on at 11. You didn't have to come till 10:30, quarter to 11. In my play, when I ran it, you never know who would go on at what time or even when I would go on. I mean, it was just totally banana. It was like hell's a poppin'. That's why it worked.
It worked for you, and it worked for Mitzi doing it a completely different way.
Exactly. So, but see, the word got out. It started to really build, and then when I got divorced and gave it to Mitzi, that's when it started to really. So she came in just at the peak of it, just when it was just starting to kind of evolve into the spot, into like the new comedy.
Well, then it was kind of like a case of timing, and it was bad timing for you, but good timing for Mitzi.
Well, I think, when you think in retrospect, to think about, I don't think I could have ran it. Like, I don't think I could have, I'm a comedian. What do I know about business? I don't even today, I don't know nothing, I know how to do what I do sometimes. And then, but she had that sense, she had that business sense. She took that, and I used to give the beer away, take your date ball behind the bar, the comics, and pour drinks and beers and open up the refrigerator and whatever, never charged them. She charged them for everything. I mean, she, not like $1 or something like that, but she made it into a real business, and it worked. So, going back and say I would have and I should have given it to somebody and let them run it. No. I couldn't have had it.
All right, we got about 30 seconds left. Let's plug The Warm-Up. That's your one-man show based on your autobiography, which was called The Warm-Up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Takes place in my apartment. Right. Getting older, talking about my life, getting ready to go out on a date. My friends are fixing me up. Talking about all the stars that I've worked with. And it just evolves around to the end of the show where I'm all dressed up, getting ready to go on a date, and people start cheering. In other words, he's a very positive guy who sees life for what it is. I mean, he's been there. He's had his moment in the sun, and he's getting another shot here and there. He's going out with a nice girl, and he's excited about it. And it's just a story about a middle-aged guy.
And who's directing it?
Martin Landau,
Not bad.
who probably will win
Win.
the Academy
Right.
Award. Martin saw me do it at a hotel. I mean, at a theater in LA, and loved it. And said, "Let me work with you." And I said, we've been working with it for the past 7, 8, 9 months
And-
now.
and you're going
we're going
off
off
Broadway?
Broadway, yeah, hopefully in May.
Sammy Shore.
David, it's nice to see you.
Regards
Give
to the
me a
weasel.
hug. Take care. Okay. Thank you, David.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Back with our calendar segment right after this.
The problem we have in our country today is alcohol. Just the other day on television, they showed a picture of what alcohol does to your body. They showed a picture of a liver rotted, corroded. I mean, my friend still drinks, but he won't eat liver. Give me that, mate. Give me hallelujah. I'm not going to stand right here and lie to you. I'm going to stand right here. You people in the balcony, you want to be saved? Well, jump.
All right, Jake, I'm going to do the calendar now?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still here. Sammy. Oh, jeez.
I love him. I love him.
I used to work a single. No, Jesus. All right, listen.
What?
We have to tell the people who's come.
Okay.
If
What?
You're going to be in Atlantic City.
I'm going to be. I'm
I
here
know
now.
You're stuck.
Oh, I see. I'm here.
Jan Murray?
Jamboree's coming to
Jan
town.
Murray's coming to town.
It's February
You know Jan.
4th. Very well.
February 6th. But that's
February
all right.
6th.
6th to the 11th.
My birthday's the 7th. You want to
Trump
come to my
Plaza.
birthday party? I'm having a
Absolutely.
birthday party.
Absolutely. We got to
Okay.
tell people. Jan Murray, Trump Plaza,
Right.
February 6th to
February
11th.
6th. Okay.
Also, you know who else is coming in?
Jerry
town?
Vale, too, huh?
Jerry Vale is not until March, but we'll talk about him.
See, he wanted me on the
another
show
time.
with him. I says, "There's no way I'm going to work with an Italian guy like you singing him songs, and I have to go Jewish guy out in the front." I said, "I'm going to go into Harris and work with my friends."
Well, that's
Yes,
good.
You see?
That's good. Listen.
You see, he missed. So he's going to work it by himself.
Charo.
What about Charo? She's coming too?
to play in the review Hot Cha Cha at Merv Griffin's Resort. You know
Oh,
Merv.
you're kidding!
She's going to be there President's Weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, we got
all the big names in this town.
And Raul de Blasio. You know who Raul de Blasio
I heard
is?
about him.
I think
Doesn't he
plays
play
piano-
trumpet?
Trumpet, piano, something like that.
Yes,
It's
right.
going to be at the Trump Taj Mahal.
No kidding.
And-
David, you have a lot of wonderful entertainers coming to town.
But
yes,
until March, 12th, Return to the Catskills.
we'll still be here.
Starring Freddie Roman, Frankie Pace, Corbett Monica, and
Me, Sammy Shore.
him, Sammy
Pauley's
Shore.
dad.
Pauley's dad. Is that it?
Not bad, Dave.
Case closed?
Case closed.
Case closed.
Nice to see you, Dave.
Good to see you again.
Love you, Lance Kitty.
And now, through the it's not even magic. We're going to go like this and say good night. Here's Sammy Shore on stage at Harris. Bye.
And I understood her, you know. But one thing I couldn't stand about it, she smoked 3 packs a day. So I take her to this restaurant, and the maitre d' says, "Smoking or non-smoking?" And she says, "Non-smoking." I said, "What are you lying for? You're still smoking." "You're so right, Sam. Every time I inhale, my eyes water. I get shoulder breath. I can't breathe." "Well, why do you smoke?" "It relaxes me." "I only smoke for health reasons. If I didn't cough and hack, I wouldn't any exercise at all." I said, "What do you want to eat?" She said, "Smoked salmon." So I couldn't take it anymore. I take her to this chic center for smoking. So I said to the guy, "Mister, maybe you can help my girlfriend to stop smoking." And the guy says, "You've come to the right place." I said, "It hasn't helped you. I've only been here a year." I mean, I got out of there. A few months later, I get a phone call from the same girl. She said, "Sam, I stopped smoking." I said, "How'd you do it?" "I became an alcoholic."